place here on February 1st. It's Vex Gaming going up against Blast Radius. I was discussing before we went to a commercial break how I was really excited to see how this match would line up. I was thinking that we were actually going to be heading to the finals, but it seems that this match is actually ready to go. This match hadn't actually started yet, so we are going to be graced with a very interesting other semifinal. Of course, we just got to watch the guys from Big Beams take out GGEA Blue in a hot duo on this exact same map. So we'll be revisiting, of course, the same map set. Hardpoint here on St. Marie de Mall, Search and Destroy on London Docks, and CTF on Flak Tower. But off the break, of course, when we talk about both of these teams, we talk about their presence and their overall ability when it comes down to the respawns. Vex kind of walked over their other opponents when it came down to Pimby and Sons. Of course, Pimby, Phantom, Zinx, and Foncho beat them on Hardpoint Gibraltar 250 to 110. Blast Radius had a similar kind of dominance when it came down to their Hardpoint game. Ended up dropping the guys on WE in a pretty dominant way as well. So with that underway, looks like off the start here, 43-6 advantage right now for the guys on Blast Radius. And this is going to be a pretty big test, I think it's fair to say, for the guys on Vex, right? Because they're a very solid team. Of course, we talked about their Pro League Challenge kind of victories, how well they've been doing in recent 2K tournaments. But this is going to be a really big test for them, facing off against a solid group like Blast Radius, a team who's currently sitting in second place in the U.S. National Circuit, alongside a number of very solid teams like Next Threat, Complexity, Enigma 6 teams of that caliber. How can Vex really kind of stand the test? I mean, not to kind of bring up negatives, but I mean, a lot of maybe people in the community, especially if they started to kind of face off against better competition, could say, well, maybe, hey, maybe they just had a good series versus Optic. Maybe it was just a good kind of map set for them where, you know, Optic just wasn't playing their best, but this is really kind of their test to say, hey, this is their ability to face off against a very solid kind of U.S. National Circuit team. We can kind of gauge ourselves. We kind of have a little bit of an idea of what to expect when it comes to the future matches, future tournaments rather, when it comes to different games. But it looks like our rotation's already being sought after when it comes to the parking lot. In my opinion, one of the most important hard points in the entire game of World War II, as we did lay witness to actually this exact same hill and how important it was between the guys on GGEA Blue and Big Beams. It looks like Lyric gets the nice drop shot coming out of top restaurant there onto Legal. As Blfire beginning to pick up a few kills, the FG42 in hand, and Mosh actually finds the other two as well. 4 down for the guys on Vex Gaming as Havok holding the front lines, just trying to get as many hit markers as possible, and assistance is still a positive at the end of the day, and it looks like a 40-second advantage right now. Parking lot, basically all seconds going the way of Blast Radius. Is now rotation coming in toward Lookout Post. 3 players making the way forward, but I like this play coming in from Mosh. Kind of holding that backside position, at least takes out one member. But the nice kind of collapse goes forward for the guys on Vex, as they're now going to set up here for Lookout Post. And I like their setup. 1 in restaurant, 1 kind of watching through mid-cut, 2 focusing their attention through mid-barn, kind of back barn, excuse me, is Rampy doing the damage right now. 9 and 7 for him. Him and Vicious played very, very well in their prior series where we got to watch them play. I mean, he was just absolutely tearing it up. Him and Vicious, I think, went like nearly double positive in the hardpoint. So if there are 2 guys that you really want to see have a strong game, if you're a fan of Vex, you really want to watch those guys have solid performances, because usually off the back of them is how you win respawns, especially versus very talented teams like this group in Blast Radius. But Vicious watching through middle, having his teammates lock down some time, the last few seconds rather, inside a Lookout Post. It looks like player number 1, Mosh, the last guy to try and engage. We'll see how this fight does go. And if you're Rampy, I mean, I have no problem kind of just staying alive, challenging him, making him waste his bullets. I'm preferring my team over yours in the overall battle of team chemistry, but it looks like it will be Mosh who does win the fight. Brack, with knowledge of it, is really just kind of trying to play for streaks, and Legal is aware of it. Does take him down, so big kill coming in from Legal. While it does only show up as 1 kill on the scoreboard, it means much more than that. But speaking of kills, Lyric on the back lines should be here to maybe shut down Havok. They're right in the corner, having 2 players standing in his way at the top of the stairs. Havok is taking people down left and right. Rampy doing the exact same, even if it's on his own teammates, but the Legal will lay successful at the end of this team fight, at least for the time being. Still a lot of valuable time inside the top restaurant. Lyric was trying to realize the exact same thing, but you see all of these players from Vex Gaming, just trying to get in that top side position, but it's not working out for them. Just not able to kind of get up in top story red as Legal coming through with the streaks off the break. Doing a lot of damage, and I like that play coming in from Legal. He realizes that, hey, they have the early rotation. They have the win here for Winery Lot. They obviously get the kind of call out of the spawn out coming forward, and Legal's there just to try to diminish those numbers for as long as possible, having a constant 4v2 heading in toward Winery as they play it well. Pings, the Motor Strike potentially, as that one is going to be coming through as another kind of test for Vex Gaming as they're having constant struggles just to get toward the hill. Whether it's streaks or Blfire's FG42, they are just having constant problems getting inside of the hard point. It's not a matter of them losing fights in the hill. It's just getting to the point where you can kind of step inside of that square. Vicious does drop one, but no teammate support. Nothing as far as a positive is considered, except for the fact that they do have potentially a rotation set up here for parking lot. Mosh on a 5 spree, nearly makes it a 6th. Was on the run. And the final plot coming in from Legal, playing very, very well, 18 and 11. And I talked about, I believe, getting into the kind of first round matchup for the guys on Blast Radius. I was discussing how important I feel like Legal is to this team, because when he has a strong game, when he's playing at the top kind of level that I know he can play at, this team is almost unbeatable. I mean, literally, when you're kind of looking at this group, I mean, Blfire, a solid AR player, Mosh, Havok, both can kind of go off from time to time, but I feel like when the subs are playing well, especially Legal's playing well with that submachine gun, Blast Radius are just on a different level when it comes in, especially respawns. But looking on, at least for right now, if you're Vex, you're having a little bit of positives from time to time. You kind of won the rotation toward parking lot. You're getting quite a few seconds, but getting ever so close is Blast. The 200-second mark. Brack does win a big fight when it comes down to the scrap seconds here inside a parking lot, but keeping in mind, he is a very valuable FG42 player. He's not really kind of adding a whole lot when it comes down to the next hill, and seeing all three of his teammates drop. He's going to be coming from one angle, all three coming through back Winery, and Havok is here with a close submachine gun that needs something to kind of bait him out. If it's a nade or a stun of some sort, needs something to kind of get him out of this position. I think that's a wall bait that comes in from Vicious. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he was just someone who came through mid-cut, but regardless, what seemed like a near successful push from the guys on Vex ends out in 0 seconds. Not 1 point going their way. As right now, Legal and Co. starting to see some success. They start to realize that 250-second mark is ever so close. And more streaks starting to come through. Blfire now earning a few of those. As at the end of Lookout Post, if the guys from BR hold every remaining second, they'll be near that 230 mark. And right now, if you're Blast, I mean, you're still 70 away from just 200. I mean, you're having a number of different problems at the moment. Legal, that's all about a bait. That's all it is from Legal. Just trying to diminish the numbers from the front. It looks like Blfire and Mosh sweatshirts will do all that is necessary. He's finding constant kills, rotations coming through, and really this is just a kind of dominance really being shown from, of course, the second place team right now in the U.S. National Circuit for a reason. Blast Radius coming to play. Brack didn't have the greatest of performance when it came down to their prior series. Had his teammates who were really playing very strong, but you see Rampy starting to kind of struggle right now. Granted, not by the most of margins, but 19 and 25. I mean, when you look at the scoreboard right now, it's not as if it's a big slang differential. It's just a matter of where the time is going, how those kind of impact kills really mean a difference. And I feel like, well, you know, it is a fairly big loss right now from the guys on Vex that lose this one 250 to 145. They are learning a lot. I think it's fair to say. Whenever you do lose kind of big games like this versus very solid opponents, as we see Lyric actually just kind of light things up with the Bronze Star. Does he find 4 kills? He does. Finds 4 kills off the break. But you're learning a lot of information about yourself. You're learning a lot about your teammates. And you know, like I said, I always think of a loss is more valuable to the team who kind of suffers it, because you're kind of realizing that, hey, what didn't really work out for us? Was it rotations? Was it just a matter of kills not going our way? Because like I said, if you take a look at the scorecard for a moment there, I mean, it really wasn't that much of a difference. There wasn't really a big difference where you're like saying, okay, well, that guy had a slow game. I mean, he goes -5. He goes -6. I mean, there really wasn't that much of a difference. I think it was just a matter of kind of valuing rotations. I think it was a matter of the guys from Blast Radius who were always kind of a step ahead. I think when it came down to this hard point in general, I mean, we were seeing them, if they lost the rotations in the last hill, what they were doing was kind of setting up. I noticed from one of the early sides that the guys from VexX were able to hold was on parking lot. I think it was like second set of rotations. They won parking lot. They were kind of playing pretty well. They're starting to get back into this game, and I believe a few of them kind of spawn out toward back winery, and I was talking about, okay, here comes the push. Here comes the opportunity where they can make something happen, and Mosh is just already a step ahead. Like, he's already aware of what they're going to do. So I think it was just a matter of Blast Radius kind of getting off to a hot start, playing very well, rotating correctly, getting the kills that they needed, earning streaks, but it was also a matter of them kind of being a step ahead. They knew exactly what VexX Gaming was going to try to do from time to time. It was just a matter of where they couldn't really kind of get the kind of spark. They weren't really going to getting a kind of momentum kills. It was kind of like them kind of playing into Blast Radius's hand. And when we talk about Blast Radius, Havok, Legal, Mosh, Blfire, all these guys have been playing for a number of years, and obviously do know a lot about one of their opponents when it kind of comes down to different things. But I believe we actually have the box score to kind of see exactly how everything did line out when it came down to this hard point, to see really what was the difference when it kind of came down to this map. Because it looks like the only really major difference maker, I mean, lookup post, a 2-second differential, parking lot, and winery, not too much to really bring up. I mean, it obviously is a decent difference between the two. As we talk about the money hills for this map, a lot of the time normally is winery, is parking lot, but really it's restaurant, right? 94 to 26 seconds. I mean, we were talking about the streaks, we were talking about the sub play that really was kind of coming out in the play that I talked about from Legal, right? It was the play that was coming in from him that I feel like really was a big duo with him and Havok playing very, very solid. And I think that really was kind of like the major difference maker when we look back at this map and we say, hey, what was the difference maker? It was Legal's kind of play with that SMG. So I think when it comes down to London Docks, right, we talk about potential sniper play that be coming forward. The SMGs are obviously going to be a factor, right? And I think for VexX, I mean, where do you really look at? I think the subs are definitely going to be a big factor, like I said, Havok, Illegal. But I feel like for VexX, what they really have to be very careful about is not letting them go down early. Like, they really need to kind of get some security under themselves because, of course, they lose first hard point, probably one that they're feeling very confident going into. They lose that. So where's the confidence at? It's really going to kind of come in these first few rounds. So on offense, I want to see them make a push toward a particular bomb site. Maybe just kind of 4-man rush something. Maybe 4 rush B, 4 rush A, trying to get something going. But they have to be wary, right? They have to be aware of their opponents. Much like how BR was aware of them when it came down to the first hard point, they have to be the exact same way when it comes into search and destroy. And if we know anything about Blast Radius, we know about their ability to kind of have subs up close to the sniper rifles at range. Wouldn't surprise me if we see either Havok or Legal, vice versa, one with the sniper, one with an SMG up close, making kind of that rush toward water side. So if you are looking at VexX right now, and we're saying, hey, what bomb site do we really want to rush? I'm personally saying B, and I'm saying we want a 4-man rush. I want some utility. I want some kind of stuns to get kind of tossed over forward. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, a quick commercial break here for the 300 minimum 4v4 variants here taking place on February 1st. We've got VexX, we've got Blast Radius here in map number 2 for some London Docks. Blast Radius, of course, off a solid victory on St. Marie-du-Mont hardpoint, winning that one 250 to 145. And now this very talented VexX lineup finding themselves a game down with a lot to play for, and it looks like they're playing this initial round very slowly. I did see a smoke in the back pocket. I want to say that was probably either for Lyric, I want to say. So does have that smoke potentially to be utilized. I thought that we're going to be making an early rush toward A, but it seems that they're playing the waiting game, trying to find a pick. Unfortunately, Vicious ends up getting made for the first blood. So Mosh in the back lines here with the FG42 going to give a call to his teammates. And it looks like Brack trying to watch over, goes for the challenge at the same time that Blfire finds a kill. Havok does as well. Rampy 1v4 and gets met. So VexX, I don't really know what really was the play call when it came down to this offensive round. If it was just like, hey, let's play for a pick and whatever kind of happens, let's kind of utilize that. But they give a smoke in the back pocket for Lyric, but he never uses it. Like, it was just a matter of like, hey, let's make a push happen. I'm not sure if their classes weren't ready or if it was just kind of maybe them going back and forth about what bomb set they wanted to go to. And it's like, okay, let's just play slow. Like, we can't figure out what we're going to do. Let's just play slow. So it's kind of an unorthodox round. They seemed like they didn't really know what they wanted to do. And they obviously paid for it, but it looks like a smoke tossed off the break here on A. Rampy ends up getting taken down. Blfire with the solid positioning. Brack, I believe, gets the mantle and does not find the kill. Legal drops him for the second kill of this round as a quick plant goes down there on the A bomb site. Vicious and Lyric now with a position to try and retake. Vicious does have the sniper rifle, and just as he fires away that shot, his position is revealed. Lyric currently in a fight right now with Havok, where he isn't able to find it. And Lyric still does have the smoke out. I'm not sure if he doesn't like just has an FG class without a smoke, but I mean, if he has like a nade or even a stun, like that could have slowed down the push in A. Just kind of surprised that he has the smoke in his back pocket and he's not really been able to utilize it. But Vex, like, this is a very scary situation for them right now because offense and defense. We noticed on offense, they were slow to come out of the gate. They didn't really know what they wanted to do. And Blast Radius was just kind of like hanging out. Like, we're like, hey, Blast Radius was like, hey, we're just going to kind of chill. We're going to let them make the kind of initial rush. We're going to take them out. And that's exactly what happened. They played passive. Vex played a little bit too aggressive. They didn't know what they really wanted to do, and they get dropped for it. Next round, Blast Radius is like, hey, we know exactly what we want to do. We're going to rush for the A site. We're going to get the bomb down. Like, they are feeling fully confident at the moment. And right now, if you're Vex, you need to have some confidence. You need to have some type of kind of push made forward. They know exactly where Mott's position was in the exact same round prior. And they really just need to get the bomb inside of A. But they're wary that, hey, Legal could be here. Havok could be here. These guys like to play rush heavy, but they utilize a lot of their utility on Mosh specifically. And they literally throw 3 nades and don't hit him. They don't take him out. So being so worried about how Legal could be inside of A, in fact, he's actually on the flank. As you're going to see, it looks like Brack be aware of that. And once Brack position is revealed, Legal's probably going to realize that, hey, someone's probably in A, but Mosh is just doing all the work. No one from Blast Radius has yet to die. All of them are flawless. Just as I say that, they find another kill. Lyric 1v4 does take out Blfire. So a kill is found, but not a round. 3-0 beginning right now for the guys on Blast Radius. As you've got to be very wary if you're Vex right now. You're down 3-0. Along with that, at any moment, one of the guys from Blast Radius could earn streaks. So Lyric, the only one to find a kill. Rampy. Oh, I thought it was Rampy's perspective for a second. I apologize. How was Rampy towards streaks? He's 0-3, but no, it's actually Havok. But off the break, we'll actually see, looks like another push being made toward the A site. Looks like player number 2 was there. Brack watches his teammate Vicious fall quickly to the sniper rifle. And it looks like player number 2, Brack, is in the back lines here. Just outside of 10 and not finding any information. And Brack probably is going to check on this bomb site any moment. Just try to gain some information. Yep, he's going to check inside here. Not going to spot anyone until Legal decides to peek his head. And now Legal, once he challenges that, doesn't have anyone through middle to help along with that fight. You see Brack being aware of his position. It's Blfire who tries to make the trade, but Rampy's there to watch his back. So good kind of call-outs coming in from Vex in that situation. But split number 8, back lines. It's Havok this round. Doing the work, takes out 2 quickly, and now it's Lyric 1v3 sniper to greet him as he enters out of fire side window. Look at this play from Havok. Great intuition. I don't even think that was a call out. Maybe Mosh saw him inside of red or saw him inside of fire, but based on where Havok was aiming, what I'd imagine is probably Mosh is saying he's coming out of fire, so Havok's like, okay, well, which area? Like, there's 3 different areas where you come out of fire, so he probably checks one and realizes at the second. But 4-0 start right now. Havok has got full streaks. Granted, one of them's a flamethrower. Probably not the best situation to be using, but I like that play. Actually, Vicious does take out Blfire. They're actually going for a kind of a bait strat onto A. So what the guys from Vex are doing right now is they're trying to make Blast Radius say, hey, like they're actually taking strategy out of our book. Like we're actually going to be making our way toward A as well, which is exactly what Vex has been succeeding in. A few extra bullets to the body there, I believe, coming in from Legal as 3 get found quick. Rampy, unfortunate spot, my friend. Yes, he will fall as well. Just not many positives if you're Vex. I mean, I like the idea that they obviously pull out because I was trying to discuss it, but I was kind of having a hard time. But what they do in this round is they throw the smokes toward A. It's a pretty kind of known strat to pull out. But I believe what they're doing is trying to make Blast Radius think that were to go for the same push that Blast Radius has succeeded in, which is a smoke toward A quick plant, get it down. They baited out 2 players toward Blast Radius, but even baiting out 2 players, even finding the first blood, they still cannot win a round victory, along with actually getting the bomb down on B. So, and you've got 3 players who are still flawless. Now make it 2. Blfire still up. Only for the time, but Mosh and Legal now find themselves in a 2v2, so if there ever was a time to play well, it would be now. But Mosh having some free reign around the map. And here come the streaks. Say goodbye, Brack. Say goodnight! Because I'm not sure if it was the glide bomb that did it or the FG shots. We'll find out. Or actually, not even FG shots. It's just Legal. I thought for some reason that was an FG42, but just the... looks like that player just exploded out of the map, but Legal is obviously there to finish things off in a hot 6-0 in the search and destroy here on London Docks. Not going to lie, I'm a little bit disappointed, to be fair. I really thought this one was going to be a lot closer, just based off of kind of VexX's play in their past kind of matches, whether it's been in online 2Ks or in their last match where they obviously beat the guys on Suns, which was Pemby Phantoms, Zinx, and Foncho. But like I said, Blast Radius, this is a different team, right? This is a very kind of talented team. Thank you for the graphic there, production. Appreciate it. But pretty straightforward, of course, 6 rounds in a row. A lot of information there. No, I'm just kidding. But still, though, I mean, when it kind of came down to this match, I was expecting it to be closer. I mean, I think the respawn really kind of tilted the guys on Vex quite a bit. I think they were a little bit unsure in themselves after losing a game like that in a pretty dominant way. Like I said, not a whole lot of them were negative. Like, no one really played bad. I actually took some notes, and I was like, Blast Radius was always a step ahead. No one from Vex really played bad, but it really wasn't the same impact that we saw in a lot of their other matches, whether it's been in 2Ks or even in their prior series, where it was Rampy and Vicious who were just kind of dominant. Like, they were having free reign, they were having fun, they're making pushes happen. Like, they're all just kind of playing as a unit very, very well. Like, once the whole team's succeeding, it's easy to play well, but whenever your team's having struggles or when you're losing a map, that's when you really start to learn a lot more about your team and whether or not it actually can last a long time or not. So I think if you're Vex, right, I mean, you lose this series, it's a pretty unfortunate loss. It's a big loss, but I think you go into, you know, future tournaments saying, hey, like, we learned a lot from that tournament. Like, we can actually kind of get a little bit of an idea as to what really happened. In the Search and Destroy, I think really they had an issue with the kind of early start off. They didn't really know what to do. We talked about in their first round. I think Litter kind of smoked in his back pocket and never really used it. Like in the first 2 offensive rounds, they never really knew what to do. They played very slow off the start, and I think that the guys from BR started to realize that, hey, these guys, they don't really know what to do. They're feeling a little bit, maybe not nervous, but they just don't really know what to kind of pull out. And like I said, it was a matter of them just not watching their flank at times. I mean, really, it was just kind of free reign for Blast Radius to kind of roam around the map and do what they did. But of course, as we do obviously congratulate the Blast Radius guys for moving forward, we also have to kind of mention their counterparts on the opposite end. Of course, it will be Big Beams, meeting them in the finals, of course, for tonight's $300 minimum. Very curious to see how this one obviously does play out. I'm making an early prediction. I'm saying Blast Radius probably wins the hard point. Curious to see the Search and Destroy CTF would obviously play out, but if we see anything like how Blast Radius played that last S&D, which is pretty typical of them, kind of wait for picks, find the first bloods. Legal and Havok were having free reign. Mosh was playing very, very well, not just in the respawns, but in the S&D as well. I mean, if these guys can kind of get a foothold or can kind of get a little bit of momentum under themselves in Blast Radius, they're going to walk away with the series in a pretty quick and easy way.